the Church of Scientology is so afraid of.
This is SPTV.
Hello, guys. Welcome
Hello.
back to SPTV, where every single literal day of the week, you guys, we ask ourselves the same ridiculous, dumb, rhetorical AF question. What is Scientology so afraid of? What could it be, Laura? What could it be?
Many things. I know they're definitely afraid of the kids that they trafficked and tried to pretend that they thought that we were their destination or their future plans for us were going to follow through, and it definitely fell through. And here we are talking about it as it's just wild to be able to talk about it as the children that were so programmed and so brainwashed and so deeply corrupted to L. Ron Hubbard's programming and policies that even today we're catching ourselves years and years and years later catching ourselves like, wait a minute, call it what it is. Stop using their technology, stop using their words, stop using, let's use the legal system that we all use. Let's use those words for what they're doing. So yeah, it's a lie. It's wild. But yeah, what are they hiding? What are they so afraid of?
Well, for one, you guys, definitely the movement that is taking place in one of their buildings that, we were talking to Streets LA and Jessica yesterday, and we told them they don't give a shred of an F about this building. Like, this little recruitment center, they just came up with like a last minute idea. Yeah, let's really like grab people from the building and let's really put them all in here. But Scientology is contrary to the belief. They're not trying to clear the entire planet. That was the fake pitch they gave to us. Oh yeah, we really want to help everybody, but they are actively screening their victims, you guys. If you don't qualify, that means they cannot literally scam you. And they're very, very good at knowing who are the safe people to abduct into their scheme. Because remember, they data mine all the information. They really want to know who your family is. Make sure you're not working with the IRS. Make sure you're not working with the FBI. Make sure you have no family ties in any of those organizations. And they have been very, very good at screening their victims by the fact that what you were just saying, Laura, is like, how long has it taken us for us to have a voice and gain our voice? And we were joined yesterday by another second generation, you guys, Anon, who is also under the radar right now, navigating, what it feels to be in the middle of these protests and to be able to speak to people that are protesting together and to have all the eyeballs straight into Scientology, like literally straight into Scientology. So we have a wonderful, fun show prepared for you guys as we kind of share with you some of the feedback we have. And we wanted to read you just a little like nutshell of what went on. So last night marked a powerful movement as we rallied against Scientology in the so-called Christy Hotel on Hollywood Boulevard. Did you know that place was called Christy Hotel?
No.
So you guys,
right when you just said it, I was like, oh, I remember that. I remember hearing that through old documents. Like old as a younger child and through newer stuff on my channel when I'm speaking to Janice Gillum and Gillum Grady about old policies. And so that's when those names come up and it's so weird. I remember hearing that as a child, but I was very young. So it's weird. But yeah, when you just said that, I'm like, ugh, that's right. It was called something else. Christy Hotel. Why are we, and now it's called what? The testing center or this, they like to call it the Scientology Information Center.
So there they are operating their literal hotel in the middle of Hollywood. Laura FM and I engage with passionate protesters and wonderful content creators. Shout out to Jessica Palmedesa in Streets LA. And who are the other guys? Because I don't know all their names. Do you know?
I suck at all this.
The
I
names.
know their faces for sure. And
Yeah.
I know, like, I have my own little nicknames. There's a sweet little Latino guy that I call him my personal security. He's super awesome. He's always there whenever I'm there. He's like, "Hey, Laura." I'm like, "Oh, there he is, my security. I feel safe." It's just there's so many people there. Chris, there's another guy, Chris. There's obviously Angry Gay Pope. There's Anon, who wears the gold mask, the smaller gold one. There's SP Spanglish. That he's always out there. There's so many people, and it's like I can't be out there every night for sure. I can't. I work. I have so much going on. But even if I get that 2 hours like we did last night, if we get it, boom, we're in there, and it's so fun to be able to answer even all the TikTok, gurus and Streets LA. It's so fun when they have a question, they know they can just turn their head and say, "Hey Serge, hey Laura, what did they do?" And we're like, boom. "Oh, what's PTS?" Boom. We know it. We'll give you the information. Stop trying to get it from anywhere else, because you're gonna get it wrong.
Chris without the Hellcat and Audit LA. So those are two other ones, you guys. And we were heartened by being able to witness the fervor of so many people eager to learn, posing insightful questions as we dismantle the mainstream corporate media washed up talking points. Our message resonated deeply. It is imperative to protect kids who cannot consent. And that invigorated activists at various stages of their own journey into uncovering this crooked scheme. The exploitation of minors within hotels and commercial buildings orchestrated by Hubbard's adult proteges was laid bare for all to see. So we invite all of you to ask questions and contribute to the discourse that is vital for ending this systemic exploitation of minors. And we're also going to share details of our encounter with the LAPD, who faced our unwavering stance against the plight of all 21 and under kids trapped unwillingly in this scheme. The discomfort is evident on their faces, and it reflects the disruption of the status quo, revealing the PR smoke screens set up by the crooked people running on memos that they can do illegal things and not care. And you guys can go and check out that memo that they literally say, let's blackmail people and let's really go and steal from people. Let's really break into places. We know those two last things are illegal, but who in the hell cares? Our community is rallying against the scam, and it's ready to join our army of advocates with a clear goal to ensure no child under 21 is subjected to repugnant, boundary-violating role plays disguised as audits by Hubbard's proteges. The time for ignorance is over. It's 2024, and the scourge of L. Ron Hubbard's dangerous rhetoric is being exposed and fully called out. We fully reject any and all sanitized pitches and false narratives perpetuated by parents and executives who knowingly place kids in harm's way. We demand answers that are long overdue, and a revolution calls for the liberation of all 21 and under kids from the hotels. The executives and parents complicit in this conspiracy must be held accountable both legally and morally. It's high time to end the rampant abuse, to question, to demand, and to ensure that Scientology's dark secrets are brought into the harsh light of truth. The scam of L. Ron Hubbard and the adult executives that propped up this fake 501c in these hotels, where they all conspired and successfully were able to traffic underage kids at an industrial-sized scale. This cannot stand up to a shred of scrutiny, of course, because a scam is a scam is a scam is a scam. So you are all joining us on our revolution, and the community is waking up, and the change could not be any more long overdue AF. So that's our little message. And with that, I want to bring up here a special guest that is the first time he joins us on a live, and is my wonderful husband, Michael, who also joined us in the protest.
Hey guys,
Hello.
can you hear me?
Yes, perfectly.
Hi,
Beautiful.
Michael. Yeah, you sound great.
Hey baby, how are you?
Good. That was so fun last night. That was so sweet to see you roll up on your amazing little hot ride bike and be like, yeah, I'm just here making, sure my husband's okay. So cute.
For me, it's like it's so important, just the support of you, of all you kids, of everything that you guys have gone through. And so for me to be there, it was just as special for me just to join you guys last night and just be on the front lines, because that's what we're doing. Is you guys are on the front lines, and it's like we need everybody that is out there that can help us make this mission possible and create the possibility of demolishing this corrupt cult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's definitely helpful when there's beautiful people like you who guide us through so many times of shaking, we're feeling like, a little shook, or we don't feel as secure as we should feel at times. And a simple reminder, like your words of just sincere, like, hey, don't, remember who you are. Like Michael will remind me, you didn't, I've said this to myself a lot, and you remind me of what I've told myself. You go, you didn't get through Scientology to be stuck in whatever you're stuck in now. So, and I was like, that's right. I told you that. I'm like, I didn't get stuck in Scientology. I didn't get out of Scientology to be stuck in a bad relationship. Like we were talking about something like that. And
Yeah.
so Michael reminds us all the times of the words that we've even learned and we've taught ourselves, like, hey, bring yourself back to you. Your strength is the strongest. What do you want to do? How do you feel? And I'm like, is that even the option? Yes, it's the only option, because that was the only thing that was taken from us, was what is the best thing for ourselves? What is the best thing that is going to heal ourselves? And so Michael constantly reminds us of that, which I freaking love so deeply.
Well, and I always like to say this, and being the first time on the show with you guys, thank you for inviting me, you guys, and Serge, of course. Thank you, darling. Is that, what I always talk about in my everyday life is that we all have a physical body and we all have a spiritual body, and they have to be in alignment. And when we're in alignment, we could do whatever we want. And unfortunately, you guys growing up in Scientology, you guys are way out of alignment because you didn't even know what your true self was, because they taught you everything else but your true self. They didn't want you to find out who your true self was. So how could you be? And so now that you guys are out of it, I love to remind you guys, because Laura, just every day, like when you're playing your music and you're performing and Serge is helping you, is on stage with you in your music and singing with you. When I see you guys up there, you guys are in full alignment. You're living life today like you should have been 20 years ago, as a kid. But you've got the opportunity today to break away from that completely and stay in today's alignment and stay at a high vibration and create whatever you want, because today you get to have the life you want.
That's so well said. And something that it's really come true, you guys, like the support of people. Laura and I realized we were in recovery, and this whole journey has been about that recovery. And Michael putting us in alignment and, showing us through example, just really leading by example, because that's what's been so different about this journey. It's not something that we're being imposed to do. We're not being told, sound like this, be like that. It's really a self-discovery journey. That is what all that trauma that was imposed on us did. It took us away from the ability to even have the time to examine and look within. And I mean, Laura, like your conversation with that little girl, like I couldn't stop thinking about it this morning. Like
Last night. And how, I mean, somebody will send me that video. I know people were recording it, but basically this sweet little Latina cute family came by, and the mom was just holding her sweet daughter. I think she said she was 16, but she really looked, I'm not even kidding, she looked like she was 11 or 12.
Right.
And so sweet, and was like her words were so pure and strong. I could not believe, I forgot. I was like, oh yeah, you are 16, but you're like this. And it brought me back to that. I said, how old were you? You're 16. Okay. Yeah. You were definitely interrogating people. And I said, the things I always do, I thought you were 11. And I said, and I can't even say what right now in front of you, what we were doing. And the mom was like, oh my God. Yeah. But it was so amazing. The little girl said, well, you never know what the future can hold. She said something so pure. And then she said, you know, love is love. And she just says something so pure. And I just was like, yeah. And that's common sense. And that I connected to so quick. And I said, see, you're a smart girl. You are so smart. You are smarter already right now. Like, it was just so nice to be able to have that conversation by saying a few words that resembled love and care, and that this cult does not support or supply. And they go against this. So it was just, and to hear a little child understand it without even having to describe in detail what happened, it was just like, that is amazing. That's really awesome.
Well, when I wrote up, you were talking to them, and I was able to join in on the conversation a little bit. And it was so beautiful because, like, as you were describing what was going on, and, you know, how families get separated and the kids get put into this location, the mom and dads go on to this different world or whatever they're doing in Scientology. It was so beautiful to see, because the more and more you described it, the closer and closer her mom kept grabbing her closer and closer.
It was so
beautiful.
And she was holding her mom, and she was like,
yes.
I was like, you see this love you have, this closeness gets taken away.
Yep.
This is why my father continued to walk when I'm yelling his name in pain. Like, what are you doing? Why are you still walking? At least turn around. This mother was like, oh God, I love my child, and the child loved her, and they're looking at this cult and like, wow, I'm glad you guys are really out here even telling us about this. I will know for the rest of my life. And my, you know, and they just appreciated their love even more, that they are able to hold each other and have this deep love. It was really, really, the whole thing is very therapeutic. It's so therapeutic on so many levels. Like, I've gotten over the anger, you know, I still have the excitement and the intensity. That's for dang sure. I don't think that's going to go away. But I also understand it a lot more now. And I'm facing the fears that we were trapped in.
And Laura, speaking of anger, I think I channeled your anger, because you guys should have seen my rant to the LAPD, you guys.
It was amazing.
I was literally...
It was not a rant. It was awesome. It was like, whatever you're doing, wake up and listen to these words that we're saying, that you need to go in and investigate what you're not hearing. If we're saying there are things going on in those hotels, you need to view them as they are. Don't just call it a Scientology building.
You know, and I was sharing with Serge when he was expressing that. I was actually watching that when he was talking to the LAPD. It's like, you know, one day they're going to wake up and they're going to see Scientology just blown apart through the media, and they're going to remember that moment they had with Serge on that street going, oh my God, there was that guy telling us about it and we didn't do anything about it.
Mm-hmm. Or maybe they will now.
Or maybe they will now, right? Hopefully they will. But you see that every time you turn around, you expect somebody to do something, and they say they're going to, and they, for some reason, they are like supporting Scientology, or they come out of the end, at the end of it, you're like, where are you guys? Where's the politics in this? Who's paying who here?
Well, and you know what I love this, speaking to so many of the community, the LA community is really showing up, you guys, for us. Like, all of those people that are standing outside there are literal community members, literally people that live in LA. And I was talking to several of them, and they're just like, yeah, we're so sick of this too ourselves. And that's why we're here, like, finding out what's going on. So the more they found out that there were kids stuck in hotels that they weren't able to see, right? Because we've seen some of the young people inside of this commercial building that they have, but they're not 15 and they're not 14. They're more like 19 and 20 and 21, or like Sebastian, like I think he's like mid to late 30s. And you know, if we as kids were being kept away from prying eyes, and they went through all the extreme lengths and extents, you guys, to make sure no media captured us, photographed as minors. They even started putting us in buses. We're not allowed to be seen. And in Scientology, they do the same thing here. Like they put everyone on a bus. You don't really know who's working in the buildings. You just see a big building and you don't know what is going on inside those buildings. And yesterday was the first time we were able to explain to them the audits. And it's funny karma that Scientology audit, like the word audit could not be any more appropriate, because that is exactly what in the hell needs to be done. They need to be audited. CCIRS. What in the hell are you all doing? Paralyzed, playing dumb, like total idiots, where you have millions and millions of money being done on the back of underage kids. Because we would love to find out exactly why can someone that is an adult in the United States can walk out inside of a hotel and pay, including but not limited to, up to $500 to go get interrogated by children. And that was a shock for all of them that were there, right? Because they're like, what? Really? What do you mean? Like, yeah, I was 12 when I was doing it. And Laura, you were also like 13 or 14 when you were an ethics officer. And
Scientology does things in ways, in all forms. They do this in the Sea Org and auditing and everything, and how they pay money. They do it in little increments. The way that you would brainwash somebody, the way that you would groom a child, the way that you teach a child how to audit and how to sec check. They don't do this right away. They don't show you the rape question right away. They first say, do birds fly? Good. Do birds fly? I'll repeat the question. Do fish swim? They literally teach you these dumb, basic, stupid questions that are obviously everybody knows the answer to. So, but you go and research this and you're going to figure this out. There is slow brainwashing of everything. There are slow payments of everything. So when Serge says somebody pays $300,000 to just get off their sins, and that's how much it is after you get to OT3 and you're still getting away with being a child molester. So you're going to keep paying for those sessions and those 12, in 12 intensives and whatever language they're going to use. Those registrars are going to use. They're literally registrars registraring up that money. Anywho, so they're doing it in increments where it's not noticeable. But when you show people, okay, let's show you a very obvious example. Here last night in Hollywood on the streets. We're going to show you what happens. Well, we're not going to show you because Streets and Jessica and all that people out there are stopping people from going inside. But we're there informing everybody now. This has never happened. But this is so easy for people who love showing the truth and love speaking about what's really going on. It's so validating for us. We've never been able to do this. So it's pretty freaking awesome. I just love how the universe, I guess we can say, is just pulling things slowly together and opening things up, whether Scientology likes it or not. It's like, come clean, or the planet is going to start putting it in on you.
Well, the planet is putting it on it. And one of the things both of you said is, like, Serge, you were talking about the kids that were in there last night. Yeah, they're 15, 16 years old. But Laura, like we were just saying, is it took grooming of a minor in their early ages, 11, 12, 13, all that grooming in order to get them into that place to present themselves as being that person. And
and some of it's not Serge. We say 12 just because that's when we officially joined the outside world. But Serge's parents were raising and grooming him, whether they were aware of it or not, to be a Scientologist, period, whether he was going to join the Sea Org or not. I was born in the Sea Org, so I knew nothing either. And my parents were encouraging and approving everything. And when I would do something that was natural and it wasn't okay, they would say, well, knock it off. That's out of balance.
Well, fun fact, Laura, I was born in the Sea Org too, in Mexico, though. I was in the
Literally.
Mexican Cadet Org, you guys. So
Exactly.
I was literally,
So
but
it's not even like we were 13. We were babies in
yeah.
this behavior. We were training. We were already being trained by your own mother, who's supposed to be nursing you and giving you that close connection, is already giving you a locational or a contact assist as a baby. These are small little brainwashing, grooming tools that
Well,
you're
and
going to
it's
wonder why somebody at 17 or 16 isn't leaving, and they're now enforcing and being a strict interrogator because they're okay with asking anything. Because you know what? It's so fucked up. We actually think, hey, if you get this off to us, you're going to feel a lot better about it.
well, Laura,
And you do, right?
Laura, I want to say this is like you're saying, like as you're a baby and your parents don't even realize they're grooming you. Stop for a second. Let's back up even 9 months before that, while you're still in your mother's womb.
In Canada, being
You know,
trafficked from a different, exactly.
you know what I mean? And they're already brainwashing you inside there. They're not rubbing their bellies. Oh, baby, you're coming into this beautiful world. They're in this mess of barrage of information from Scientology. And I'm sure the fetus, and as you're growing inside your mother's belly, you're hearing that shit. You're not getting those special belly rubs. You're not, oh, good kid, you're going to have this great childhood, blah, blah, blah. No, it's like, get out of ethics, get in, blah, blah. It's like, it starts way before you're even born.
That's out of valence. Up. Well,
yeah.
Ooh. Or even that's Theta. Oh, look at how Theta she is. She's so, what a beautiful spirit. She's so Theta. So if I hear that, you're so Theta, what's going on? Why are you upset? I'm going to feel bad when I'm 10 years old. Oh, I'm so Theta and my mom doesn't think I'm Theta anymore. I'm doing something internally that's really bad because I know that I'm Theta. Theta potato. Sorry,
And
I was going to bring out my Theta potato, but that's
the
not funny right now.
sanitizing of what was being done through these words that L. Ron Hubbard literally pulled out of his literal ass, you guys, because that's what needs to be emphasized for the people in the back that really want to purport that L. Ron Hubbard didn't pull things out of his ass, when we know firsthand that he did. We know he just literally said, can I just type some deranged thing on a book? Can I just type up, minors getting seduced at 7, and him blaming the minor if they had a bad reaction to it? In literally Dianetics, book 1, L. Ron Hubbard was already pitching that type of, horrendous, disgusting normalization of abominations. This is not a religious idea that anyone can have, you guys. You cannot literally pretend that you have a technology that can really pitch, dealing with the 7-year-old that has an adverse reaction, literally his words, adverse reaction to being seduced by a grown man. And, book 1, we keep calling it out because that's the book that this center sells to everybody, you guys. I mean, imagine with what kind of face these people can really sit there selling a book that literally intends to normalize something that is a literal felony. And, the LAPD is too pressed to go and really protect the rights of the people that are selling these books. We would love to hear from you, Sebastian. In what world are you with a straight face grabbing 16-year-olds that Jessica already showed you guys the video evidence receipts? It's not like, oh, Laura and I were there and then they stopped really targeting kids. They are at it as we speak. So in what world are you implicating underage kids in your scheme? All Scientology people, all Scientology parents, all grown adults entering the hotel have a responsibility, since you all see it, since you're all exposed to it. Yes, it was very normalized in there. And going back to what you were saying, Michael, it's like everyone was groomed. But you know what? The grooming needs to stop. And it needs to be, the critical thinking skills are nowhere to be found of adults. And that means that said adults have decided to self-infantilize and purport that being an infantile adult that has no shred of critical thinking skills for themselves, that is going to be surrounded in commercial buildings and hotels filled with minors, where everyone is in the same bucket, is just a very religious experience that everyone is having for themselves. And it couldn't be more indefensible. But, leave it up to all self-made L. Ron Hubbard proteges that paid to be his protege. And that's the point that we're going to keep highlighting ad nauseum. Consent. Adults have power. Kids don't have that power.
Well, I want to bounce off of that, Serge, is like, I remember growing up here in Los Angeles when the book came out. It was the buzz. It was the #1 seller. I bought it. I read it. I was like, wow, what is this? And like anybody, I walked into the Scientology building and started doing the thing, and they put me on the cans and all that. But I was an adult enough to be able to say, you know what, something's wrong here. Something's not
Like
really.
at any point you could leave. You could be like, hey guys, I'm an adult enough to know I can, if I say I want to leave, just like in a conversation with the sheriff, if you want a lawyer, you can, you know what to ask. You're an adult.
You're adult.
Kids
So
don't know that at all. And
Well,
these recruiters are also numb to it because they think they're above the law. So they have forgotten about the law. And so now they're just being reminded because of these protests, as you want to call them, or everybody. I like that word. Good. We're doing that. But the only way they know is because now that they're going to, they have to watch their behaviors in front of all of these cameras.
yeah.
Now
yeah.
you can't lie because it's not just my opinion or Serge's opinion or Michael's opinion. There's multiple opinions and we're all seeing what's going on.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I was, and I want to add to what I was saying is that I can imagine like a family coming in and they target certain demographics because certain demographics, they're struggling here in LA. They want to be part of something. They want to be part of something bigger than their own life. Well, they have kids, but they don't even realize that they end up getting sucked in by this Scientology jargon. And then next thing you know is they're bringing their kids in. And then all of a sudden they just get lost in being part of a bigger thing. And all of a sudden their kids get lost as well into it. And it's really frightening to see what they're doing.
Well, and that's one of the points that I said on one of the interviews yesterday, that the children are the ones stuck with the bill of the bad choices being made by these consenting grown adults. And that's why, the era to cradle and canoodle people that end up in cults that are adults, that are full knowing, that are being shown the pitch. Here it is. Read it for yourself. Don't you think this is a great idea? Don't you want us to also like you? Because that's the whole thing, right? Like, if we all like the same book, then aren't we all such good little buddies? So that is what's being questioned today. Like all Scientology adults, and including, I even said, well, maybe if you don't have kids, it's fine. But if you don't have kids and you end up in those hotels, you end up serviced by kids. So in what world can anyone be part of these hotels?
And one of the biggest things in mind control or a group controlling thing is that a group together will make you stay in that group more than just yourself. Same with like alcohol and anything you're trying. A group is going to have more an impact on you doing better in your life than just yourself alone. That's just period. So if you have a group of an organization full of children disguised in uniforms that eventually grow older into their youth, they become older, they're never going to know the difference between what are you talking about, children, and what do you mean? And if they have this idea engraved in their brain that kids are just adults in small bodies and that there should be no opinion of them and that they should not feel disturbed or grossed out if an old man kisses them passionately, as L. Ron Hubbard wrote on one of his policy letters, a child shouldn't be offended by an elderly's kiss of affection. Who the fuck is writing anything about that shit ever? It's so gross. Why are you writing about that? So it just.
And Laura, one thing about how they all become part of the same scheme was outed by an ex-RTC executive, Jesse Prince, who in the documentary I just covered said, you are asked to do things that are illegal. You are asked to do things that are criminal. In your position, and then pretty soon you're doing it. And then everyone else is doing these type of criminal activities. And that's what's being questioned. It's like, that is how conspiracies are formed. And that's why all Scientology executives and parents, because I made that point very clear to everyone yesterday too. The parents couldn't be more implicated themselves. They can start defending their actions today, because if there were no parents feeding their underage kids to these hotels, then there will be no problem. But who is, as much as everybody says, oh yeah, David Miscavige, blah, 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 he's such a this, he's such a that, who was feeding the kids? Who was being financially incentivized to feed their kids to a hotel where all adults were full knowing the type of dangers that lurked as part of these so-called audits, the type of deranged power dynamics that are inexplicable, inexcusable, and indefensible AF. The power dynamics in these audits could not be more disgusting, you guys. And that is what's being called out, because Scientology is audits. Scientology is not Sinu. Scientology is not blah, 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 this and that. Scientology is getting locked up against your will as a child, getting interrogated, getting falsely deposed by people that complete a 2-week course. And then all of a sudden they have more power than a person that went to law school, you guys, and can do a deposition. Imagine lawyers are not allowed to ask someone, have you committed a felony for which you have not been arrested? But imagine that any old person that completes a 2-week course from L. Ron Hubbard is doing these so-called A to J checks and asking everyone before they enter the real hotel, right? Because going back to this center, that center is the wishy-washy one. Oh yeah, if they do grab someone that they really think is great, like let's say a celebrity walks by, let's say Drake walks by, and he's like, oh yeah, let me really find out about this. Oh my God, Drake is here. Okay, let's call the president from CC, and they would come with a big truck for Drake. Oh my God, do you want champagne, Drake? Do you want berries? We'll take you all the greatest things. Let's take you to Celebrity Center. And then at Celebrity Center, oh, you really want to get started? Okay, great. Let's do an A to J check. No one ever, for any reason whatsoever, can skip an A to J check, you guys, because the A to J check is what they call their clearance form. And with that clearance form, they are asking people to implicate themselves in criminal activity. And going back to the point that Jesse Prince is making, it's like, well, as soon as you start making a case for yourself and you're literally telling people your felonies, that's what creates their little illegal criminal bond between each other. And that bond could not be more ridiculous. And we would love to hear from the LAPD captain why that bond is taking place. And we don't want to hear stupidity coming out of you like, oh, but if it's very religious, I can have a shred of a critical thinking skill for myself. That little pathetic excuse that all the legal people in the profession are really propping up is not going to fly anymore. L. Ron Hubbard was a convicted, indicted felon. L. Ron Hubbard was a complete, out of his mind, disgusting man that is not an American God, contrary to all the BS sanitized pitches put up by Mike Rinder, Marty Rathbun, and David Miscavige, who were the ones that propped up this fake 501c. Not L. Ron Hubbard. L. Ron Hubbard was dead below ground. His sham was going to die with him. But in came in these three amigos that really did spend over a decade with the top legal minds of the country paying a ton of money to really sanitize what in the hell they were doing in the hotels. And all of their lawyers, you guys, they're so stupid. They're so zero due diligence that they also didn't bother to read L. Ron Hubbard because, they really thought, oh, well, isn't it such religious things that L. Ron Hubbard wrote? So let's not give a shred of an F. Let's just pretend that as long as you call it religion, anything and everything goes, and the law could not be anywhere to be found because they have their own laws in there that are not administered by attorneys, that are not administered by any legal anyone. They're administered by other people that completed a 2-week course and read a memo from L. Ron Hubbard, and all of a sudden they're, doing an arbitration. They don't know how in the hell to do an arbitration, you guys. They have no idea about anything.
Or
These people could not be
interrogation.
more pathetic
Yeah.
or clowns.
They'll
and
call it an
dangerous.
arbitration and interrogation auditing. It's still all dealt the same way, the exact same way. Liz Gale is here. Just wanted to say. But it's all dealt the exact same way. I just
I
rhymed.
don't see her.
Yay. She's
Can we-
here. I'm going to add her.
Oh, perfect.
Hi.
Hello, Liz.
Hi. I'm so glad that you guys had me on. I was watching every second last night and I was just so proud of you guys. I was having major FOMO. I loved it. Lara, you were dancing and just bringing such joy. Man, and Serge, you were letting them know what's up. I'm so proud. Hi, Michael. Great to meet you all.
Nice to meet you, Liz.
So yeah, how was it? I can't be on long, but I'm dying to hear how it was for you guys. Maybe you already talked about it, but
No, I mean, we're just kind of
Just
getting
jumping
started
in
with
and
it.
out. Yeah. Jumping in and out of slices of it and emotions and the LAPD showing up, which LA Streets called for on Scientology because they now just didn't have their little speaker that some idiot ran off with and they've got that back, but had nothing to do with literally us being out there at all. We're not dumb. We don't do that shit. We don't have time for that fucking immature, stupid shit. So, but anyways, they literally have a huge boom box.
Oh, wow.
Like a speaker that you would use to the right side of a club. That would, so no joke, it really was. And they put it right by the door and we're blasting, Taylor Swift, all these random songs.
Yeah.
And you can hear me in there. I'm like, that's just degrading to the artists, the music artists. But the point is they just think again that they're above the law and that or they don't know it. And they just think, oh, that's smart to turn it up because they don't want to hear what we're saying.
Right.
And because I have a very loud, clear, vibrant voice, they're not going to be able to pierce through that unless they have something louder than me. So they turn it up way too loud.
Yeah.
And so Streets LA called the cops and they immediately turned it down right when the cops showed up.
Of course
it's just
they did.
So it's all everybody's. Yeah, it was all it's all being filmed, but it's like, good. We're going to use the LAPD to be here because that's also inappropriate. We don't want to be loud and annoying. We want to be very clear. We want to send messages. I mean, I want to be loud as hell, but I'm just saying I would rather be loud and not have music also fighting against me when they're using the music. That's not theirs. It's not, they're using other artists' music to pull attention or push attention away from them.
Right.
It has nothing to do with Scientology.
No. And I wondered if they did that as a little bit of a strategy, like a copyright infringement.
They did. No,
Yeah.
that's absolutely. And to shut us up. Like they don't want to hear what I'm telling them about ex-Sea Org members and Mike Render and all the, all ex-executives who are now SPs and look at them now and who's allowed to talk to. I was just going off and on. And, just like they don't want to have this little reception. They moved all the there was 3 ladies there kind of the whole time, the same little robots. And they eventually moved them and said, go to the back or whatever. And the security guard was the one put there. And that was during the time that the cops were called on them for the noise complaint.
Right.
So they send the girls off because the girls were the ones who turned it up. And then they had the security guard there turn it down. He got on the phone. Oh, the next thing he did is turned it down. It's just so stupid. It's really stupid, but it feels really therapeutic to be like, I cannot believe that this organization has had this fear and control and slightly does still. There's certain things where it's like, woof, you release it and you're like, I was afraid. I'm like, no, go away from me. Get out of my face. And if you don't you can't just spit on people. You can't do gross things. Like your reactive behavior can't just be like that. Like you have to control yourself. And so it's really cool to be like, oh, I'm actually, was always told I was the crazy, loud psycho. And I'm like, now it makes sense. You're right. I am.
I've heard that a time or two. I think it must be very therapeutic to be in the right time and place to be yelling at like what you want to say, because I've done that in the wrong place and it's not always as effective. It's got to feel great to be in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, it was really good. And that whole crowd and everybody there is not there going against you. There's literally, it's all vibes of we're exposing this. We're shutting this down. We're going to, you know, people, Surge's bright sign. I have my proud SP sign always with me. But like, these are obvious things. People are asking, what's a SP? What is it that kids can't consent to about Scientology? And it's like, okay, let's break this down. So that feels really good.
The phrase power to survivors really resonates when you're in that protest, you know, because that's what they took from us, like power. And us showing up there for ourselves is, you know, giving ourselves that power back to protest against atrocities that we've been told. We were all having a very religious experience for ourselves as children. And it couldn't have been more of a dangerous lie that needs to be really dispelled for everyone so that no one can play dumb. And, you know, and we deserve answers. We deserve and we are owed answers.
Yep. I think we are saving a lot of lives. There's a conception, I don't have facts behind it, but like the TikTok audience is a little bit younger as a demographic. And so to reach that audience, I think some of the, you know, some older folks have, I shouldn't say older folks, but different generations have gotten into the conversation. But I think this generation that is now out there is a bunch of young people just getting outraged at what they didn't know. And I love that for them, because there's other people who got the same information and they weren't outraged. They were just like, oh, that's whatever. And now there's a new set of people who are rightly outraged. And that feels so good. It feels so good. I was almost shaking watching you guys out there last night.
Well, Liz, last night when I pulled up, it's like what was so beautiful is to see the synergy between everybody that was there supporting each other on just being there and holding each other's hands, basically, and just saying, we're here. We're proud of what we're doing because we're saving people. We're bringing knowledge to people that they don't even know. But it wasn't like there was a few people here and a few people there. No, there was a community there, and there's this community now, which is so beautiful to see.
I love
it. And a community of never ends, right? Because Michael's a never in, Streets of LA is a never in, is all the people that are there are never ins. They have heard about this and they all have their reasons to protest injustice. And we couldn't be more grateful, to be honest, to really highlight this problem, like you said, Liz, at such an exponential rate. I mean, if this is trending on TikTok, like getting like every video, you know, 250,000 views, and, you know, people are seeing what these kids are doing day in and day out, the ones that are really trying to recruit the people. And the other thing that was interesting to kind of talk to Jessica about was, you know, it's kind of mysterious, and it's almost like it's so weird to be like, why are they so unreactive, right? Because like they all come across like there's this like snobbery, and that's kind of how they ice everyone out, right? Because the whole idea is we have a technology, we are saving the world, you have no idea what in the hell you're talking about,
right?
And that's sort of kind of how like they disassociate every time they're presented with any type of fact, you know, because again, it's like L. Ron Hubbard was very pressed that none of his proteges ever had a shred of scrutiny, because his scam, as he said, keeps Scientology working because it couldn't be more unworkable. Literally, you literally have to keep it work. Like you have to keep at it because it doesn't work. So every day you got to pretend, oh yeah, let's keep it working. So
it's so much to speak to that, that robotness. I think we know how they get there.
Yeah. I was going to say it's wrapped in narcissism, because Scientology teaches narcissism. It teaches you're better if you're narcissistic. But obviously they never teach you that word narcissism.
Never.
I've never heard about narcissism until like 3 years ago, probably.
But going back to the, you know, the euphemisms, right? They called it homo novus. And all of a sudden, oh, we're homo novus. You know, those people are this, we're this, you're that. It's all this.
We have the technology. You don't. We know better. You can be any of your weird religions and still be a Scientologist, because in the end, we have the real technology.
Right. They never saw us coming, though, right? For as much as they prepared for their underground bunkers with their gold-plated CDs and keeping the technology good for 1,000,000 years. I don't think they ever realized that the kids that they harmed would grow up to be sound, reasonable, moderately healthy. I'll just speak for myself here.
Trying our best.
Yeah, adults who are brave enough to get out there. You guys were brave enough, and you offered almost like a translation, right? Like it's two different worlds, and you guys help bridge that gap, and like in a way that I'm just so proud of you. I'm just so proud of you. I'm just looking up to you guys so much. I just want you to know that.
Well,
Us
and we
too,
talked about it,
Liz.
guys. Like,
Yeah,
we're
we love
gonna
your
be we're
TikToks
gonna
and
be
everything.
flying Liz into LA, and we're gonna be flying as many
Yeah.
SPTV creators
I
as
wanna
we can
go.
get our hands on,
Mm-hmm.
I
so
wanna
that you all have your own opportunity to go and tell these people what in the hell is up, because every voice matters. Every voice of every child that has ever been harmed inside of these hotels
Mhm.
is important. And turns out that we're all tiny little drops, but we're a whole ocean all by ourselves, unfortunately.
I mean, it is unfortunate. It's such short-sightedness on Scientology's behalf. It's like they always thought that we were adults in little bodies. Did they not see this coming?
Yeah,
Did they
like I had
really?
a clear I always remember this conversation with my father where he was trying to get me into the org for this KR that he fucking written on me, and I had no idea at this time that he had written it on me, but
That's so
he was
messed
like,
up.
that's so messed up. And so I was
I'm
like, oh,
laughing. I'm
Dad.
sorry.
I said, I was kind of like, Dad, I just told you last week, like, I don't want to deal with this. I just want to like, and then I said something like, Dad, I'm 30 now. This is when I was like, I'm 30. So like, I'm an adult. And he was like, I know that. And something kind of clicked in his head a little bit there. He was
Right.
like, I
Oh,
know. He's like, you're right.
yeah.
It was kind of like, at what point are you going to keep up this dad? Like, I know better. You better listen to me thing.
Right. Well, and
I'm
as a
like, Dad, I'm
parent,
in the outside world.
yeah, exactly. Well, and I'm a parent of a 17-year-old, and you already get that. You already have you have to decide how you're going to move forward in this new age, because you can't just send them to their room and tell them don't do it. It just it doesn't work. So I'm glad they didn't see us coming, because maybe that would make our job harder, but I'm still just baffled. I'm just baffled that they thought we were adults for so long, but never gave us credit for actually the fact that we were going to grow into adults and that we could have ideas and make an impact in the world.
Well, and the
So,
fact that they exposed us as adults too, right, Liz? Because that's why we had a front row center seat at the dysfunction.
yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense that we know this
We
much.
were
It makes
making
no shred of sense. We should have been shielded. I always say,
we were
had
the
they made the
examples.
hotel 21 and
Yeah.
up, then
Yeah.
you know what? I would go tell all the people out there, shut the F up, let 21 and people up do whatever in the hell they want. No one's going to protest what someone else wants to do. And this whole idea that we're bigots because we're telling other people what to do and harming their religion. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're just
No.
telling them, no, this is what really you're walking into. So do
Yeah.
you want to do that? And even the moms or the grandmothers of these people go, no, that takes me away from my God or something. And
Right.
it's like, nothing you can do. Just kidding. I just thought of that for
Well,
some
and
reason.
equipping people to understand, like, who are the victims here, right? And everyone can be an advocate for a kid that has no advocacy, and we
Yeah.
would know how much advocacy we needed. And I mean, to your point, Liz, look, imagine it's taken 74 years
Right.
for this to happen. It's taken 74 years for all these people on TikTok finding out all of these things. There's been protests and everything like that, but everything is morphing, right? Like, now we have a whole technology where people are, sending their comments, are
Yeah.
checking in, and are getting more and more involved in the story, because this is the poster child of the trafficking of minors at an industrial size scale. You guys, aided and abetted by the US government, aided and abetted by all the other countries that follow Australia's model to really pretend that Hubbard was some sort of natural born god, where all he was is somebody that pulled things out of his ass, wrote it in a book, and dominated all his proteges into submission, which
Yeah.
is disgusting and unthinkable. But I mean, again, it's like we want to save Sebastian, but he needs to walk with his own 2 feet. He's an adult. No one can come and save you when you're literally completely addicted to something that is so self-harmful and self-destructive. It's like, and you
In
see
a
it,
way,
they don't wanna walk away.
in a way, we see it with Sebastian, and then in a way, you see the side with my father. Both of them are ignoring it 100%. They're like, what other proof does the world need? And there, the LAPD was standing and had the audacity to say, "I don't believe that's your dad."
Right.
Wow.
What? I
Why
didn't
is
know
your
that he said
emotions?
that.
Oh, that's why I said, did you not know? Remember when I said that was my dad? I was yelling at the cop and that old man with the IES pin. And I said, you know, that's my dad, to the IES pin guy. And I went back to the cop. And then I said, you're okay with that? That's when if you keep watching my live stream, I go, you're okay with that? You're okay with what you just saw? That's the shit where I'm like, why is it even okay for a cop to say that? I don't believe that's your dad. Are you kidding?
Well, and their defense has always been, right, Laura?
You're
This whole
wrong.
disconnection
Like, the
thing has
cop is
been like,
100%
you
wrong.
cannot tell an adult who they can speak to or not, right? Like, they cannot come in and be like, connect back, connect back. I mean, you would think it's basic humanity that as a parent, you wouldn't want to do that. But adults cannot be forced to do what in the hell they're so confident they really need to do for themselves. And that's why this disconnection, I spoke about this to people that were talking about this disconnection thing. And I said, no, disconnection is necessary. You need to disconnect from your traffickers. You need to disconnect from people that have ulterior motives to decide this alternative universe that they are all part of. Co-conspirators, implicated AF, mutual outroots is what in the hell they call it in Scientology, you guys. They literally have the word for it. Mutual outroots means all of them agree to something and then they all become blind. So even in their own technology, it's explained to them what's being done to them. And that's probably part of the gaslighting, disgusting situation, right? Because they really have a lot of confidence, but
I wanted to bring this one. Martha Simmons says, question,
if
if church
COS couldn't have kids in Scientology, would the house of cards fall? Kids seem to be an integral part of the system. Thank you, Martha. Absolutely. I mean, Laura, how many kids were staffing the hotels in Florida, for example? I gave that number to people yesterday. It's like out of 1,000 people, the ratio was 400 were underage. And there is no other building, commercial or otherwise on planet Earth, you guys, that has
and also
that ratio. Like, it just doesn't exist. You don't have 400 minors with 600 adults all convoluted. And then imagine that all the adults are running around pretending the kids are not kids. So no school is done like that. No Boy Scouts. It's always small adults, a lot of kids, right? There's no ratio where it's so like indefensible.
And we talked about this earlier, where the parents of children that are coming into this are already grooming their children when they were young, when they were in the womb. They're doing touch assists and all this. So those kids, there's going to be a percentage of those kids, no matter what, because their parents brought them into it through their own, by using L. Ron Hubbard's gross, hypnotic, fucking whatever you want to call it. It ruins the child's mental ability to ever make or consent, even when they become over 18 or 21. So you have these idiot robots that are in the testing center right now, that where we were last night, who literally are like, wow, these guys are actual SPs. They really are thinking we are so evil and that we are trying to destroy, because to them, it's okay. So if you're a Scientologist, you're allowed to lie. It's the greatest good to you're allowed to lie, because it's better for Scientology to get into their hands and into their system than to tell them the truth. That's the whole thing on every level.
They're doing you a favor by keeping information from you, because they don't want to, quote, harm you by giving it to you too soon. But then by the time you actually get it, you're a frog in boiling water and you don't realize it until you're on fire.
And grandma and aunt and everybody's already into it as well, because you pulled them all into it.
Exactly. Well, speaking of kids, you guys, I have to take my kid to a birthday party. So I have to pop off. But I just wanted to tell you, thank you so much for inviting me on here to cheer you on. And I don't know the next step, but I'll be watching and rooting for you guys,
Yay.
and all of us. Michael, I hope to
Same.
meet you in person one day.
Likewise, nice seeing you.
Yeah, exactly. All right, I will be watching as much as I can while my kids are playing.
Cool.
Okay.
See you guys later.
Bye,
Bye.
Liz.
Bye. Thank
Cute. This is so great. And yeah, you guys, I mean, I really want to get as many kids that grew up in Scientology to join these amazing community that is protesting these egregious crimes perpetrated on children, with the LAPD just literally protecting this establishment as if it's the last thing they really need to be doing. Because, you know, last time LAPD, we checked the Constitution, it said slavery was abolished. I don't know how many 100 years ago. I wouldn't know because I didn't even go to school. But I did hear a rumor that slavery was canceled. But, you know, we have the receipts that slavery wasn't canceled in the United States, you guys. Slavery was brought back. And it wasn't just any old slavery. It was kids being enslaved and parents being given contracts and special incentives, financial incentives, time incentives. Oh, wouldn't it be so much better that you just forget you had Laura, you never pay for anything about her, she's your child, and then all of a sudden you never have to take care of her. Oh yeah, we'll have nannies do it for you while you go and work. And I mean, again, it's like, it sucks to be that parent. It sucks to have been that boiling frog that agreed to all of that. And that is what in the hell all of these parents need to start having a serious reckoning of conscience. If you don't regret it, there's no remorse, the public record of remorse from Scientology parents, you guys, could not be any more abysmal. There's been no repudiation for what in the hell they've done. It's all just under this idea that, oh, I was abused, I had no shred of a clue, and that is just completely not true. We know they knew. We know they got scammed because, you know, somebody did write that L. Ron Hubbard was some great genius. Somebody did go around propping that disgusting indicted felon and selling him as some sort of solution for something, including but not limited to his personal publicist, Mike Rinder, who was his publicist, you guys. Like, you're the publicist, Mike Rinder. You explain to us who L. Ron Hubbard actually was. You're the one that knew that he was high out of his mind on a trailer, paranoid out of his mind because the FBI was going to come and get him any moment. And then you still went around and begged Monique to get you those things so that you and Dave and Marty could have your little 501c because you really wanted to save the whole world. You weren't saving any of the kids. You were implicating in your sham scheme that is called a criminal conspiracy. And you would know that, Mike Rinder, because come to find out, you are actually very legally trained. You actually write great legalese. So in what world are you writing legalese and then pretending that you are just like every other kid that had no shred of a clue? Laura, did you know any legalese when you were there? No. Guys, we had no shred of a clue. Literally.
Oh wow, literally, and shredding, and had no clue. I was shredding Lisa McPherson legal documents at 15 years old and literally having no clue or shred of a clue of what I was shredding. And I just knew I was part of the job as being their messenger, but I was called the runner. That's what I was called, the runner. I would literally go get and do anything they wanted at any time. I would be doing their laundry, folding, like just complete slavery, literally, as Serge is saying. It's no joke. We're not like using up words to like, and then we are using words that are things like hotels being run as a machine, hiding in a hotel are hotels. Whether you want to call them Sea Orgs organizations or whatever, that's what it is. Autudi is rape. If you're doing something that is called rape and somebody says, well, that was autudi on your part, you need to handle that. That's not autudi. We need to start just changing the language that Scientology is hiding and protecting these little
and
crimes.
Exposing
Yeah,
it.
and just saying this is what it's called.
We give a shred of a fuck that these people did rebrand and rename that little code word for themselves, that little euphemism, which would be great to have all senior executives that really thought it was a great idea to go with that euphemism to start explaining your damn selves already. Get on the
Like,
public
I don't
record.
understand what's so hard for them, Serge. Like, it would be great if I literally had all of the information on who all the OSA, and I would be like, cool, this is what happened. I would just lay it all out. Why is that not being talked about by these executives that are out? I would be watching their channels a lot more if they were really talking about all this stuff.
Well, and
That's
they know how to come clean, you guys. Do not get it twisted. Go ahead, Michael.
No, but that's what drives me nuts too, is because I've met some of these people and I sit there and I'm like going, you know what? If they would just come clean with their own bullshit that they did, they would have everybody, like you said, Laura, everybody would be watching their channel. They'd be like going, oh my God, what else did they create? And what else are they, apologizing for? And what else are they wanting to bring to light to you guys, to us, to the world? But no, they're still hiding behind this mask. And that's the thing that drives me nuts, is when I see this. It's like Mike Render, Claire, Mark. It's like these people are just saying these things that are just like, oh, poor me, I did this and I did that.
Like,
but
why are we not talking about what RPF, who they approved for the RPF at what time? What did they do? Why? Who they charged?
And why? Right.
And why?
And why?
Like, why
exactly.
are we? We're giving people privates. No, that's not. There's no privacy in Scientology at all. So we already lost. We lost our privacy. We lost our whole childhood. We lost it all. As they know, they also were in it young. So, but I'm just saying, all the information I have about Lisa, I will talk about everything. So it just feels like, talk about all these really intense, shitty crimes that are happening, that everybody got approved, that all these executives approved. So-and-so was on the RPF, because, all the minor stuff, all that needs to be exposed immediately.
And by all means, expand their horizons, as if you're not all implicated, aided and abetted by a ton of other executives. No one's saying that you're the only one that did anything.
Right.
Lucky for y'all, you were all aided and abetted by hundreds of people doing this disgusting bidding. And it couldn't be more disgusting, and it needs to be repudiated for what it is. Don't tell us that David Miscavige did it all to you. That is a washed up, fake AF narrative. Get your own withholds off. You would know what in the hell that means. What did you do with your own two hands is what in the hell needs to be on the public record. So then people can give you the grace. I mean, Michael, like, for part of recovery, I mean, if you were in this drug addiction and delusion of what in the hell, and you harmed all these people, fine. Maybe you're not that disgusting psychotic. Maybe you were under that influence, but you know what? You are not going to get a shred of redemption by purporting that was not a problem, that you were just such a little goody two-shoe and you don't understand why David was doing bad things to you, because that couldn't be more pathetic. That couldn't be more of a paperclip withhold that you're trying to put out there to really launder an image that doesn't need any laundering. There is no soap or bubbles, you guys, for what in the hell L. Ron Hubbard wrote in those books and has been role played by all of these executives. And again, it's the executives and the parents, because nobody ever questions the decisions those parents did to us, right? Like, I don't have a problem with the executives. You have a problem with my parents. You are the two co-conspirators in this criminal racketeering scheme y'all propped up for yourselves. So maybe start having conversations with my parents. What in the hell did you all agree? And what were the incentives? And take yourselves to the FBI Crimes Against Children unit, because I bet you $1 billion that if all Scientology parents and all Scientology executives showed up at the FBI really wanting to come clean, really wanting to testify on the record, cut yourselves a motherfucking deal. We don't give a shred of an F. We need more kids in there.
With Serge, it's like being inside the program. It's like there's this term called making amends. And that's what these people need to do, is they need to make amends for all the shit that they've done in their life with Scientology. And I've seen people inside the program go to the FBI, go to the IRS, go to other family members, go to everybody that they've harmed, and they've made amends. And the big fear of like, oh my God, I'm going to get locked up, or oh my God, I'm never going to talk to this person again. Oh my God, that person is going to hate me. No, it's just the opposite. It's open arms. People are open arms. They want you to be honest. They want you to accept the responsibility of what you did in the past that has harmed others and come clean and make amends with it. And then from there, it's golden. You know, I see the life changing of all these people change just by them making amends. And that's what I'm not seeing with these older generation people. They're not making amends. They're like, oh, I didn't do that. I wasn't a part of that. Bullshit. I see that you guys were a part of it. I hear that you guys were a part of it. I've listened to your channels. You're a part of it. And I could see that you're just disguising the possibility that you did something wrong, when in reality, we all do something wrong in life. It's just part of life. But if we do it, make amends immediately. Make amends. If it's not immediately, make amends when you can, because it makes a difference. And for the person themselves, when they make that amends, it just opens up their life to so much more magic for them, because that weight's off their shoulders. I can only imagine how much tonnage these people are carrying on their back, pretending that it's not there.
Well, and really going with them is withhold, right? In Scientology, that's what they called it, you guys. When something's about to be nearly found out, is what L. Ron Hubbard said was so bad for people. So I do see that in Scientology, they always told us about making amends and coming clean. So lucky for them, they're they've spent decades practicing that, but now they need to practice it at the FBI Crimes Against Children unit, where their actual transparency will count for kids that are stuck in there. We're already out. We're safe. We're fine. The kids that are stuck inside of the hotels as we speak, with parents doing the exact same stupid, disgusting choices that you all have made as Scientology parents, because again, this disgusting fraud didn't discriminate between parents. You couldn't all just be in the same exact bucket, swimming in kids' blood all together. So stop pretending you're better. You're all in the same bucket. You all donated kids that were underage to be sacrificed, to be abused, to be tortured. That's what L. Ron Hubbard literally pitched. And in case you don't know what in the hell I'm talking about, go double check what, locking a kid against their will is. That is a literal kidnapping. That is a literal felony. That is a literal holding someone against their will, false imprisonment. These are serious felonies. They're not just like, oh, well, you committed a little misdemeanor there. It could really be questionable. No. We were locked up.
Like last night, you said the auditor's code. You brought up the auditor's code. There's actually there's several things on the auditor's code. One of them says the pre-clear may not leave the room, like without the auditor's approval at all. And the auditor has to know that. And the PC, there's a PC code too, I'm pretty sure, where they have to also know that they are working with the auditor. It's all so manipulative. And so you are mentally you have contracted yourself to not leave that room. So call it a jail or not, but they do lock the doors. You will be forced to stay in. This is why you're trained to do
Security
TRs.
will chase you. If you manage to leave the room, you guys, if you literally, and there were some examples, because again, it's like, you're holding people and you're asking them disgusting questions. And when they tell you, I don't want to do this anymore, this sucks, I want to leave, whatever, they double down, they triple down, and they keep going. So that leads to horrific mental psychotic breakdowns that would happen in these sessions that we were told to expect, you guys. We literally drilled it with the doll. They said, okay, drill the scenario where someone's going crazy and just force the doll to get back into the chair. So it's all expected already. That's what's so disgusting and indefensible. And that's why all of these people literally have shit smeared all over their face. Because in what world are you really gonna pretend that was a therapeutic thing that you were really trying and that you didn't know any better? Because you know what? Miss us with you didn't know any better. You knew too much is what in the hell your problem is. That is what in the hell your problem is. Not that I didn't know. This is not like, oh, we had no idea what happened in a closet that nobody had a shred of a clue. You video recorded it. You had it transcribed. you read it, you graded it. You couldn't be more implicated. I mean, and again, you know, you can thank L. Ron Hubbard for that, I guess. I mean, L. Ron Hubbard, you got to go and, you know, be like, why did you have me get all implicated in this disgusting stuff? Because they purported that as long as they did really document it to this degree, you guys, then they were really legally covered, you know. And in what world are they hiring the best attorneys in the whole world to really keep the law, right? Because that's why they're so, nobody wants to deal with them, because they really, you know, the best of the best attorneys in America wouldn't sign a client that they did no shred of due diligence in, you would hope, wouldn't sign a client that would lie out of their MF mind. As we know, like literally Gary Jackson told us everything they did, they would always water it down for the attorneys, so they didn't know what in the hell they were doing. But you know what? Attorneys have, you guys, a very specific relationship. It's called attorney-client relationship. And an attorney cannot just lie out of their ass. Oh, because I was told that this is not what they were doing. I was told. You know what? That doesn't fly. They lose their license faster than their heads can spin. And in what world do we have in America that top brass of so-called legal representation on retainer for these people, and nobody knows anything, and this couldn't be more of a legal thing, and they really want to protect all our parents that, you know, will have a connection fit the second you tell them you cannot do what in the hell you're doing. You're stopping my religion. I couldn't be more upset. I'm going to cry. How dare you? I want to be free. Shut the F up. Stop being infantile. Learn what in the hell you are involved in, and maybe with some consequences and some actual accountability, maybe you'll think twice next time about really being part of this disgusting hotel scheme.
And most of the lawyers that are like Moxon and all them have been lawyers for them for too long. They can't get out of being lawyers for them anymore because they're already evil. They've already
be more implicated. They couldn't
literally
be more implicated themselves.
So they're screwed.
They literally grabbed pieces of shit and smeared it all over their face, and are walking around pretending they're the lords of the flies from hell, practicing law without a license, practicing medicine without a license, grabbing us as kids to be their guinea pigs of their tortures, enjoying watching video recorded sessions where we were getting tortured or we were torturing others. You know, it's like when Laura was doing an ethics interview, guess what, you guys? She was torturing others. When I was doing audits, guess what, you guys? I was torturing others. And we couldn't be more disgusted and nauseated given the fact that we never consented to be part of this criminal racketeering scheme, you know, and all kids there that are 21 and under, they are innocent. They are innocent AF. They have no shred of a clue what in the hell is being done to them. I mean, it's taken us this literal decades to, you know, and hundreds of hours of actual therapy.
And also not only that, I mean, adding to this, we were taught to get our own ethics in. We were literally taught to get our own ethics in the moment we saw it slipping out. So imagine mentally your own ethics officer all the time, as well as putting other people's ethics in, as well as writing reports on anything you might see that seems slightly out of line. So this is as a big data mining machine that turns into, oh, we're going to forgive you of your sins and your pedophilia and your trafficking and your like abuse and all of this through auditing. Scientology auditing. Come get some auditing.
So, Michael, tell us more about when you went to Scientology. What happened?
Yeah,
what did you observe? And how did you get out?
Wait, what is it? The Dianetics book?
When it first came out, I got the book, and because it was
like volcano.
Right. Well, I was in the entertainment business, working in, SAG and all that. And so everybody was like, oh, Dianetics. Oh my God. Da, da, da. And they really pushed it on entertainers. They wanted those people inside of Scientology to be the people that were their influencers, let's say, which we call today. And so it was kind of like the buzz. I mean, I remember I'd be in an acting class and all of a sudden someone was like, oh, did you read Dianetics? Oh my God, did you hear about this group? They're all about, you know, and so once I walked up to the door and started going through all the processes and all that, and then found myself in a room with someone with the cans in my hands, and they started asking me the most ridiculous questions. And I was like, it was like, and it was even funny. It's like, I was like, this is not for me. I've got to go. And I was like putting the cans down and they're like, oh, no. We need to ask you more questions. Pick them back.
See you guys. No. You can't go. Like,
you know, and it's like, they're like, but we've got so much for you. You're going to learn so much here, blah, 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 blah. And I mean, mind you, this is like 20 years ago. So I'm like, or, you know, more than 20 years ago that this all happened. But it's like, I sit back and I laugh at it now, that at least I had the strength and the wisdom in myself at that age to say, wow, something's really not right here. And the most funniest thing is, like, years later, I was working on a film with Hallmark and they had rented out their event space that they have there. And we were filming in it. And I just remember being there filming the Hallmark special for Christmas. And all of a sudden there was all these Scientology people standing around. And it was like I was circled with this feeling of like evil eyes just staring at you, just like waiting to attack you. And I was just like, I couldn't wait to get out of there once again. You know, it was just the energy that I was feeling. I was like, what the hell is going on in this place? And I had no idea about the children until I, you know, met Serge, and then I met you, Laura, and then all the kids now, and just what they've done. And it's just like, so wonder why I got that feeling to get the hell out of there the moment that I did, because it's a criminal base to get away with anything, and people are signing up left and right, and they don't even know what they're signing up with, and they don't even know what they're doing. It's just sad to see. But you know, I want to say, like, in today's era that we're in today, you see that all these things are crumbling. All these criminal things that are going on in the world, like Jeffrey Epstein and all that, all this is coming to an end, and this is part of it. What you guys are doing and what you guys are standing for is to get those kids out of there. Those kids don't need to be in there. How is the law allowing the kids to be in there? I don't know. But what
They
you guys
shouldn't even, like, they shouldn't be able to physically be on the property.
No, they shouldn't. I mean, and the fact that I've heard all these different stories from what's happened with all these different kids with the out 2Ds left and right. It's like, you know, come on, government, wake up, you know. And then last night, I don't know where I heard this, but somebody said that the North Hollywood police station, they let them have all their events there on their property. So like their Christmas parties, their anniversary parties, whatever it might be, they get to have that space. So of course the police think, oh, they're our buddies, you know. And I come from a family with my dad being a police officer, and I saw the corruption there. You know, my dad got so many benefits from so many different places. It was ridiculous. I mean, a simple little thing way back then was like the drive-in movie theaters, you know. All my dad had to do is flash the badge and the whole car got in for free and we got to watch the movie. And that was a simple that wasn't harming anybody, but it was like, that's the privilege that they get. So what kind of privilege is, you know, what's going on behind the scenes? That's what I want to know. And that's what we're digging into here, is like, let's report anything and everything and just uncover everything. You know, coming from an outsider's point of view, it's like what I saw last night was like pure magic to see you guys out there. I wish I would have got there a little earlier, and I can't wait to be there when it first starts next time, just to be part of that, you know, that energy, that synergy that everybody had last night. Because I even had a chance to speak with the street guy, and he was just so magical, and you know, his mission, what he's doing is just unbelievable. You know, so it takes a team, and you guys have built this incredible team, and you continue to get new team members to do this. And, you know, I see this, it's just a matter of time. The dominoes are falling, and, you know, but it's just really for me to sit back and think about the kids that are in there right now, that are experiencing the out 2D experience over and over and over.
Hate that word.
I know you have to. I hate the word.
because it covers up so much. It even covers up real love. Like it doesn't even so it's just so robotic. It's ruined. And then 2D in Scientology also covers the family dynamic, so obviously that's ruined for me. So it just feels like that out 2D. What a gross like cover up of a such a way bigger aspect of life, such a big the most important aspect of life, like nurturing your family, you know what I mean? Ugh.
Well, I remember, like, I don't know how many years ago we were down in Florida meeting with Tracy from the Tribune.
Oh yeah, Tracy McManus from the Tampa Bay Times.
Oh, Tampa Bay Times. And I sat there and I listened to her ask all these incredible, wonderful questions, and what's going on here and what's going on there. And it's like, I'm like, oh my God, this girl's really going to make a difference. And at the end of it, what did she do? Oh, I can't write about it. I can't say a word about all this stuff because I can't, I don't know if it's true or not. And it's like, it's just a scam over and over and over. Scientology has got their hands so deep into all these people, whether paying them or, I mean, and you go back down to, Clearwater, you see the police, I remember my dad here in LA, he would get these jobs with the different movies where he had a motorcycle and he'd make more money in one night than he would in a month because he got paid so much by the movie company just to block off the street. Okay. So how much are these cops getting paid by Scientology?
That's exactly where I was talking about when the cop even had the audacity to say, I don't believe that's your dad. Like, you are so one-sided at this point, and I'm wondering why. That's what I was getting to.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
how much is that permit that you charged? And what was your tip?
Yep. Well, they're
And what Christmas parties are you joining that Scientology's throwing for you guys?
Yep.
Well, and as you talk about the corruption, Michael, including but not limited to Hollywood, who couldn't be more implicated in disgusting things of their own, you guys. I mean, we live in Los Angeles and we know all about Harvey Weinstein, all about all of these people that have been enabled to do disgusting stuff. Well, Scientology did it to kids. So that is what in the hell we're saying. Harvey did it to young up-and-coming actresses. Scientology did it to kids. And now you brought up Ghislaine and Jeffrey. Scientology is Ghislaine and Jeffrey on crack and steroids, you guys. And the reason that is very simple. It's not just hyperbole. It's not just anything. It's just blackmail, which is what their business was, what they were collecting, video recording, blackmail things. Celebrity and influencers being all about, getting connected and going to Jeffrey's and Ghislaine's dinner party. They didn't hold events at the shrine, but they definitely held dinner parties with all manner of great influential people coming to that. And then they went around recruiting minors to go do these disgusting, incriminating massages. Well, Scientology's done that and more, because they have run their lawless hotels without a shred of oversight, because they're very pressed to never have a shred of oversight. And we have even yesterday on the video of Scarlett Hannah that spoke out back in 2010, where she literally goes, and I'm sure you can speak to this too, Laura, every time they knew they were going to have an oversight inspection, you guys, they camouflaged everything. They were so good at it. They were so good at it.
They would remove things that would literally, they would remove the children out of the dishwashing, or where all the lye and the very strong chemicals and stuff. They would put all that and they'd have it all away. And no, they would remove everything because they would know what they would. And here we are being okay with it as children, doing it ourselves, putting it away and hiding it. Look, we're inspected. Look, it's all passed. Because we're just kids in small bodies and we know better. We actually are freaking privileged. Here's the narcissism being thrown into we are privileged to be the Sea Org kids of Sea Org members. We came from another lifetime, and I chose to be a part of this family. So there's this whole thing. It's not just like, oh, well, why wouldn't you decide right then? No, it's never that way. The whole mind is gone. This is why Scientology is horrific. It takes away the natural love and art and like creation and joy of life and controls it, and then tells you what is good and what is bad. Like masturbating. Horrendous. Why are you even
They're
talking
all
about that? You
controlling
know,
your
like
sexual life, controlling your financial life, controlling every
everything,
single shred of
family,
you.
Well, no, they're
And
just stealing. They're stealing children's lives.
friends, exactly. And
They're
then they
stealing
convert
children's lives
later
from.
when they're older adults. They don't even realize they were kids in this.
Well, they don't even. Well, they come out and I've seen it with so many of the kids. Is like, and I call you guys kids, but it's like I've seen so many of them come out into the world, and they're like going, "What's that?" Or "How does this work?" Or "Wait, what? Wait, I didn't." Oh,
100%.
and I see it all the time, and then I start to think like, well, what's the cognitive age of that person? When did they stop learning? Did they learn? I mean, real life, and they come out in real life, and then they can't get jobs. They have a hard time getting employed.
Yeah. And I would say that's also partially because of the narcissistic ego that was put on us, that our message and what we're doing is helping the whole planet and the world. So then we get thrown out and we do, we're figuring out this wild world and, oh my God, it's so bad and dark. And so we're already assuming an attitude about the world and that we're separated from it because we have this narcissistic separation that it's not ours. It's me versus the planet and Scientology. And so we don't even feel like we're a part of the world. And we also think this bad attitude of, oh, everybody's going to hate me. I'm going to get put on drugs and and which is obviously you can see in the chat and all the support is so opposite. There's just so many lies from our whole, everything about it has just been lies and manipulation to make us believe that it was normal for me to be giving a 50-year-old man a really intimate nervous cyst often, all the time, not questioning once whether it was because I was a young child or just the fact that I was just really good at what I did.
every hotel room has a massage table, you guys. So these people could not be more Jeffrey and Ghislaine on crack and steroids because they were literally putting massage tables to do their very religious massages. And that's all it took. That's all it took for everyone to play dumb. Oh, it's a very religious experience everyone's going to have for themselves. And once again, had they made this a 21 and up club, then we would have no shred of wanting to waste our time talking about this. But the fact is, nothing has changed at all. There has been not a shred of guardrails put up or protections to what was done to us. So in what world are we here 74 years later? And even in what world, Laura, is it our job to be outing these things? At the end of the day, like, why is it the kids that have to out these disgusting things? All the parents should be outing themselves. They all know how to come clean. They all could have written their OWs. L. Ron Hubbard taught them that, you guys. Time, place, form, and event of every criminal act they committed. They could have just turned that into an affidavit, turned themselves to the FBI, and shut down the hotels. So as much as everybody pretends, oh, it's so hard to do the job, they are laws. Laws exist, and the laws couldn't be more literally calling out to do what in the hell they're doing, not do it. They couldn't be more illegal. They couldn't be more out of their mind, indefensible. There is no defense other for them to go plead insanity AF. Like, good luck pleading your case of insanity, because that's your only defense. You cannot tell us that you were practicing a religion when you were committing felonies on U.S. soil. You cannot tell us you were practicing a religion when you were scamming kids from other countries underage with visas that were fraudulent AF. They couldn't be more fraudulent. What type of ICE enforcement of immigration laws if all the kids that ended up in these hotels, you guys, have gone through, you always had to go through an immigration office. We all were trained to lie to them. We all were trained to make up stories and say, oh yeah, I'm going to be in school every day. Everything's going to be so great there.
Yeah, writing letters to our grandmas to keep the PR in. It wasn't to write a letter to the grandma. Obviously, we loved our grandma from far away. I only literally, and they're passing away, they're in Canada, and I only get to see them for the funeral, for 3 days. That You know, it's just so shitty. There's such a shitty connection on everything, and it's so manipulative, and it's done on purpose. It's done because if there was a connection with even just my grandma, I would have wanted to leave the Sea Org a lot earlier.
Yeah.
So it's done on purpose. It's so manipulative. And why was that chosen for us? Why? It's still chosen for us now in our DNAs. You know, my dad is my dad. There's nothing I can do about that. So it's like, why does Scientology have to come in and just take a little scoop out of people's lives that probably wanted to do something really good for the world and for their children and for everything, and then getting manipulated into their own egotistical withholds, as we would call it, not wanting to give. So I'm going to give off my children, and I'm so proud of them. Look at them. They're doing. I just can't.
Yeah, I mean,
They're just like my auditor. I'm getting audited.
The problem
No,
that
but you know, I just want to say, because like what you're saying, Laura, it's like it's still within you and all that. It's like that live that you were doing, and all of a sudden you did see your dad, and you were screaming at him on the live, like, "Hey, dad! Hey, dad!" It's like, of course you're still connected. You'll always be connected, you know. And it's just like this
it's our human nature, literally
human nature, and it's part of that love. And that's where it's like you have to have compassion for yourself to understand that, you know, you're okay feeling that way and like wanting, you know, and having that heartache or that moment of like wanting that longing moment just for him just to turn around and say, "Hi, Laura."
Yeah.
It's the neglect for us, you guys. It's the utter neglect. If you didn't want to have kids, then don't have them. Don't put it on us. If you didn't want to have kids and you really wanted to go live up your darkest wild fantasy in a hotel where everyone was going to be deranged, everybody was going to be doing extreme role plays. Again, this idea that, we really, really want to help the world. Please explain next time you pitch any of that, Scientology parents or executives. In what world were you helping anybody by locking them up against their will? And that was made so clear to you by L. Ron Hubbard. So before you say, but I had no shred of a clue, double check on that right now. Double check right quick and go check with a criminal attorney, a very, very good criminal attorney, and ask them, was locking people up against their will a full-blown felony, something that I can just pitch to the judge, as I was really trying to do a lot of therapy. And since you kept all the receipts for such felony, since you video recorded it, since you had it transcribed, since you had it graded, please explain how you could not be more implicated in it. Because the idea that these people are helping the world, or that they have even the intention to help anybody other than be the proteges of L. Ron Hubbard, that's all it is. I mean, I don't care to psychologize them past that. You were a full-grown adult. You became a protege of L. Ron Hubbard. Then we know what you did. We know what you're implicated in. And the sooner you start coughing up your own things, because you know what? There's so many ways this went wrong, you guys. There's so many ways. And there's so many kids that have been left as roadkill, that have no voice. I mean, we're the lucky ones here, Laura and I, and Liz Gale, and the few. Because most of them did not live to tell. Most of them are still stuck in family dynamics that are abhorrent. And, you know, it is very hard to disconnect, you guys. It is, like I explained it yesterday, it's like almost like offing yourself alive, because you lose everything and everyone. And then you have to wake up to the fact that you were just betrayed the whole time. And it's almost unthinkable. It's almost like a death right there when you start actually connecting, when your brain starts really connecting the scam and the scheme. And, you know, in what world as a child did we ever expect, Laura, that our parents were full knowing? It's like, it's so hard to reconcile that, because you're like, wait, you knew this was all BS? Like, well, tell me you want it, but
Serge, look at Anon last night with the mask on. I mean, look at the struggle that he's going through. You know, it's like he wants to be there. He wants to come out, and it's like he's still attached to his family. And it's like he's got that. It's like he's like looking at his family, like, what did you do? But then it's like when I saw that, it's just like I see it's probably just ripping him apart inside.
Well, we knew it ripped us apart inside too, because again, you know, you can't have your integrity, and you have to always be sanitizing your language so that, you know, these people really think that you really are all about L. Ron Hubbard. I mean, it's so pathetic, you guys. It's Club L. Ron Hubbard. It's like, don't criticize L. Ron Hubbard. The technology couldn't be more amazing. And we know that that was just a false pitch to keep us getting abused and for them to come up with ways, sadistic ways to normalize said abuse. And that's what all of that is getting called out, because in this year 2024, there is no room to be doing dehumanizing things to kids that are not consenting, and then just play dumb for the rest of your life and let all the kids that are stuck today fend for themselves. Good luck. Really go fend for yourself. Really go to your parent and see if they can help you. I mean, that is the most unthinkable thing about this whole thing, you guys. Like, those kids cannot go to their parent. If they go to their parent, the parent says, oh, you sound very critical of the ethics officer. Let me write it up real quick. And next time you go to the organization, you're going to get interrogated for 6 hours. So no.
Anybody who leaves the Sea Org gets interrogated for hours and hours and hours over weeks of times every single day. So they're getting interrogated about personal stuff that they've done their whole life in Scientology and in the Sea Org for hours and hours and hours every day, either by random security checkers, as they call them, literally security checking and interrogating, hours in a room away from everybody. You don't see people walking around. There's no windows. It's very much a little cave. So you're not distracted at all, and you're only focused on what you've been doing.
Yeah, claustrophobic.
Imagine
AF,
getting,
you guys. Literally, they had a bank that they turned into HCO interrogation room, and the bank vault. It was so. I mean, I'm completely like, what is it called when you're like afraid of like small? Yeah, I'm so MF claustrophobic because I spent hours getting interrogated by Marty Rathbun inside a bank vault. No boundaries, no limits. You're staying here until I tell you you can leave, until I decide you can walk out. So those are the type of weeds that we're getting into. So, you know, we can go past the South Park episode, past the South Park Xenu story, as if that makes any shred of difference to a kid inside of those hotels. Like, it's just a distraction. It's a pop situation. Yeah, ha, ha, ha. And it also legitimizes, again, right? Because they go, oh, well, you know, why can, you know, people can believe Virgin Mary, she was a virgin and she still got pregnant. So isn't Xenu the same thing? No. The Bible is theology. The Bible doesn't say lock up someone against their will and don't let them out and commit that felony and feel very religious about that. So this idea that a disgusting, indicted, convicted felon, L. Ron Hubbard, could violate the law and don't give a shred of an F is what's being questioned on the public record. And, you know, it needs to be questioned. And everyone that's advocating for this causes needs to understand that. Very simple. That's what we need an answer to. Why are kids being locked up against their will? I don't give a shred of an F that their parents said, oh, they're going to love it. Our parents told us all that we were going to love what in the hell they were exposing us to. And, you know, for the longest time, like you were saying, Michael, like, we had to people please our parents because our survival depended on it. If we didn't like it, if we said, oh, no, I hate when they lock me up.
Yeah, no,
what?
You're a
You don't
kid.
like audits?
No,
what
you're
hell?
Your parents are everything to you. And so you want to listen to everything you believe everything your parents are, you know, telling you and giving you this opportunity. And it's just like, it just creeps me out just to see that these parents have no clue even today with everything in the world that's going on, that are still signing up with their kids. And, you know, and then I sit here and I think, I'm like, okay, so like how many people are inside of Scientology today? And then if you couple them up in how many kids are involved with Scientology today, and it's just like, it's endless right now. It's endless. I remember us being down in Clearwater and you showing me the place where you were stuck in that little dingy ass fucking place. It was dingy. I mean, it was gross. It was worse than a Motel 6. I mean, it was like something that you would see on Skid Row, you know? And it was frightening. And then to see them getting in the bus, all the kids getting in the bus and being traveled just a few miles away. And then all of a sudden they're all getting out of, It's like, what fucking story is this? Who the
So one thing about this whole bus thing and the moving the Sea Org members from this place to this place is a very important issue. The reason this is happening is because they have the Sea Org members working, slaving all day long to a permanent schedule. But if they have them living and sleeping in the same building, that technically is human trafficking. That's technically, so they can't have that. So they have them, they have somewhere they eat. Then they eat here, they work here, and they go to bed here. And they're all 3 different places so that there's no confusion whatsoever, apparently, about the human trafficking aspect of it. But so on that level, you're also in this machine of eating the same food, having the same thing, having the same, you're forgetting about the whole outside world perspective. You're only having this internal robotic L. Ron Hubbard slime
Well, and let's
of
not forget to
monotonous.
add dead bondage, because I love that you just brought that up, because I think that's so not really ever really thought about.
Mm-hmm.
But not only are they, and then the stupid thing that you were telling us, right, Laura, is like they have a building where they all work, but then they won't sleep there. But then the other people that are 3 blocks away go and sleep on the building that these other people are working in
at.
all day, and then these ones go over here. So as long as they just go whoop,
Then
all of a
there's-
sudden we're not
exactly.
trafficking anybody. And the
Mhm.
LAPD couldn't be more happier with that interpretation of the law. They literally could not be more happier. They literally could not pretend that these hotels are so legit. So yeah, I mean, you know, and when you were talking about Michael, it's like Michael went with me, you guys, years ago. I went to the Clearwater police station. I spent probably up to 10 hours getting interrogated myself. Imagine, I was getting interrogated. I was having to tell them everything, and I had no idea. I mean, I was so used to getting interrogated in the hotel. I was like, okay, this must be the way it goes. So there I was as a victim pouring my literal heart out. And you guys already know, I literally talked to what in the hell needs to be talked about. So I wasn't there just blabbing away and confused about anything. But the Clearwater police made all this pretended, oh yeah, we're really going to investigate. We're really going to check something. And they didn't want to check a shred of a thing. They just wanted to go through the admin exercise, and they did the most superficial AF investigation. They gave no shred of a clue about anything that they were told. Because at first, you guys, I gave them the full benefit of the doubt. I'm like, how are they really supposed to know what in the hell's going on in the hotel if they've never been in there, if they don't know what in the hell they really do and how they operate, right? So we really should be there telling them, because as long as they know, they're going to be like, oh my God, no, this is totally illegal. Let's really enforce the law. And yeah, none of that took place. The Clearwater police could not be more implicated in systemic aiding and abetting of what in the hell has gone on in that hotel for how many decades and decades. And before you even think, okay, well, maybe they didn't believe you, but they were picking up kids that were runaways from the beach, you guys. Like, we would all be runaways to the beach. I mean, you, Lara, were always running to the beach. Like, we couldn't stand it. We couldn't stand these disgusting, horrendous hotels. It was disgusting environment to have so many kids. We thought it was okay and legal because there were a lot of kids. I mean, I know Laura from that hotel, from that literal hotel is how we know each other. Like, so it's like, well, she's there, I'm here, tons of other kids. So, you know, Tom Cruise is showing up anytime. Aren't we so special? And no, we weren't special. We were being exploited by Tom Cruise, by John Travolta, by Lisa Marie Presley, by all celebrities that have been cradled and canoodled by Scientology to also prop themselves up as like, well, it cannot be not legit if all these A-listers are really involved. Well, double check that pitch against what in the hell Ghislaine and Jeffrey were doing, because again, the similarity could not be more clear. It all happened in Florida. It all happened in a big mansion for Jeffrey and Ghislaine, since they were small scale. These people did it in a hotel with hundreds and hundreds of kids. And these people didn't have the scrutiny of the Palm Beach police that did go and investigate, that did actually ask these girls what's going on. And they did follow an investigation. They didn't give a shred of an F how important Jeffrey was. Never mind that then, yes, through more corruption, the state attorney general of Florida gave him a sweetheart deal and literally spat on the faces of all those girls by charging that disgusting man with prostitution with a child. If anybody could really tell us, yet again, going back to the consent thing, yes, children were prostituting themselves to the adult. So it's all of that disgusting corruption, and they are all implicated. From the corporate media, who also played dumb with the Jeffrey story, who also buried all the stories about trafficking of minors, because the United States, one super poor, that is a very, very got it together country that really does have laws that it applies, and they couldn't be literally wiping the Constitution with you know what, especially in the state of Florida and California, since these are the biggest states that really have all manner of real estate all over the place that is so protected. And oh yeah, aren't they just such religious minorities, is how they really have always pitched themselves to be protected, you guys. And the fact is, they're not a religious minority. They are a criminal racketeering scheme that is all done with all parents and all executives full knowing what in the hell they're doing. Full knowing. They have no plausible deniability, not even a shred, since they were all about documenting everything. So there hasn't been an organized crime organization that works tabulating everything. Maybe actually Hitler, right? Because they were all writing down, who did we kill today? Oh yeah, we killed this many people. Well, that's Scientology for you as well. That is literally Scientology. Who did we abuse today? Here, this one, this one, this one. Where's their money? Where's their this? Oh yeah, we really have to, the policy of the administration could not be their literal OCD AF about every paper and every detail. So it's going to be, very easy for actual law enforcement to go knock, knock. Okay, let me take all this paperwork. Let's pour through all the information is there. All the information is there, you guys.
Yeah,
so,
but Serge is like, I want to go back to what you were talking about, like when you were there at the police station down in Florida and you spent all those hours with them and they were supposed to be doing all this investigation. And then I remember one day you called and they said, oh, your case has been closed. We try to reach out to this person. We try to reach out to that person. They probably didn't try to reach out to anybody, because I'm going to go back to like exactly what I was saying earlier about my dad being here in LA as an LAPD officer. They were making so much money from these outside sources. So these cops here in LA, in Florida, they're making so much money from Scientology. They don't want to cut their throat, because that's money that would be taken out of their pocket.
but like you said, it's so short-sighted, right? Because the Clearwater Police and the LAPD will have so much shit smeared all over their face, you guys.
Yeah.
That
they're just as
luck
guilty.
telling us that you have no shred of a clue. Huh?
They're just as guilty.
Well, good luck telling us that you have no shred of a clue. Oh yeah, whatever. Like, you police departments could not be more implicated in not doing y'all's job that we do pay you to do. We, literally the taxpayers of this state, are paying for these people to not pay taxes for all of that real estate, while they also get away with trafficking. I mean, what else do they want? What else do they literally want? I mean, in what world are we literally making everyone in LA, everyone in Florida pay for these people to go have their freak on with a child and just pay $500 and then write it off their tax? Because that's the question we need answered today. We don't need to give a shred of an F about Xenu. We need, why are deductions being done when people full knowing implicate themselves on self-admitted criminal activity against their Fifth Amendment right, because they don't give a shred of an F about the Fifth Amendment right? L. Ron Hubbard sold his proteges on incriminate, literally tell me every criminal thing you've ever done, and we're going to float it with this machine that I really made for myself, that I really tested on tomatoes. I mean, you guys, as if this literal guy didn't pull a tomato out of his ass and really came up with technology that you always have to keep working, because This technology is so faulty, pathetic, and dumb that it literally breaks apart at the first shred of scrutiny that you put for yourself. So let's go over some super chats, you guys. Ron, so much respect for y'all taking down $1 billion cult. I wish I lived closer and could come to the protests. Well, thank you, Ron, for the super chat.
Well, you know, and I want to say, like, all these people, like, they want to be part of the protest. They wish they were there and all that. They are a part of it. All they have to do is reach out to their friends and family and just have them start following you guys and start, you know, listening to what's really going on and educating themselves and be that advocate along with you, because it takes a team and everybody's part of this team because we are all in this for the same mission.
Absolutely. And I love that you just said that too, Michael, because, you know, that is the great thing about this, you guys. With this, when you're joining our lives, when you're seeing it, we're all seeing the same thing. We're all witnessing the same thing. And when you guys are supporting us through that, you are adding your voice and you are witnessing. That's what we need. We need witnesses. And shout out to, you know, Streets LA and Jessica and all the creators that are there, because they are the ones that have skin in the game. They're the ones that have the receipts, the video recorded receipts of what in the hell they're doing and how they're doing it. And, you know, that is what it's going to take to really start moving the needle on this. Otherwise, nothing ever happens. G Fencer, has Laura heard the audio from the security guard talking about her? And what is her thoughts? How mad do you guys think DM is about this TikTok stuff? Did you hear about
I heard about it, but I have not heard the footage at all.
What was the footage supposedly? Do you know?
I heard that they were saying Laura FM chose to leave her dad or something. It was really shitty. It said, and they said, how does somebody have a choice to leave? Like, why is that a choice to separate from your family? Well, she could have choose Scientology and she chose to separate from her parents. So I don't know. I do need to hear that. Send it to me. Laura FM music@gmail.com. Lara. There's no you in me, guys. It's Lara.
And how mad do you guys think DM is about all this TikTok stuff? Look, guys, I think, you know, the people that are the underlings of DM, there's literally a lot of them. All the people at OSA that do the PR for this disgusting hotel are the ones that are having to deal with this. You don't go to David Miscavige and tell him there's a problem. You don't do that. You wouldn't be so stupid or idiotic. You would have to go and handle it yourself and really, oh, sir, this real problem that came up. So before everybody, again, for the 10th billionth time, because, you know, the corporate media has really pretended that this, you know, man, David Miscavige, is so powerful and so all-knowing, a la L. Ron Hubbard style. I mean, maybe he's an American-bred god too, is how the media has pitched him. So omnipotent. And no. Proteges of him are doing the dirty work on the daily. Okay, so there's one David Miscavige, but L. Ron Hubbard said power needs to be deputized. So guess what David does? Since David's daddy figure, L. Ron Hubbard, is the only one that gave him any shred of brain cells for himself. So he just says, oh, L. Ron Hubbard says to deputize everyone. Okay, you're my deputy, you're my deputy, you're my deputy. And now go handle everything and make sure that I don't ever get bothered by anything, because I really want to go on my jet ski with Tom Cruise. So that's what David Miscavige is doing. He's not pressed about the day-to-day with Scientology, you guys. He couldn't be more of a pathetic, infantile, crazy-ass, yelling, screaming, narcissistic, out of his literal mind. But again, everybody wants to present, oh, isn't he so smart? Isn't he so this? Isn't he so that? He's got a ton of slaves doing his bidding. So the slaves are the ones that are taking the grunt for this problem, and they will get yelled at. I mean, because the TikTok movement is exponential. The type of exposure, they don't even understand the type of exposure they're getting. They're so dumb. They're watching this live and going, oh, sir, they're saying that it's really exploding on TikTok and it's trending. So that's what I think about that. Monica Cook, thank you guys for showing up to support last night. The movement is amazing. Let's shut this shit show down.
Amen.
Yes.
Amen. Yeah.
Kim Wexler, L. Ron Hubbard didn't care about the planet. He wanted money. Yep. And as a result, all his proteges are the same, you guys, because unfortunately, proteges don't have any shred of critical thinking skills for themselves. Whatever Von Hubbard said goes. Blow drill. It seems like at this point, Scientology does not really care about their bodies in the shop. Well, thank you for that, blow drill. Well, bodies in the shop, guys, was a statistic they kept because, again, these people are real pressed to keep statistics. They put everything on a statistic. So they have and that's why, you know, Sebastian and all of these people are out there to bring bodies to the shop. I mean, remember, they said it was a religion, but they're bringing bodies to a shop and they're really invoicing for every service that they're selling, but they're still a very religious activity, but they're not in a church, they're in a hotel. So leave it to Scientology to really want to clarify what in the hell they are, because right about now, we couldn't be more confused. But yeah, I agree with you, Blow Drill, that they don't care about the bodies in the shop, and they never have, you guys, because they never wanted to clear the whole planet. They wanted to grab whoever was a victim they could sink their claws in that wouldn't be a problem for they down the line. So blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, Serge has a husband. So cute. I remember seeing him last night. Shout out to you, Michael.
Hey, thank you. I just love being there.
Yay. And Joe Spring, our wonderful moderator, shout out to her. Sadly, warriors are often built through resolved trauma. Thank you, Joe, for that reminder, because that is 100%. All of you that are in this chat that have gone through traumas yourself, that are on your own fights, that are on your daily, you know, recovery road. As we know, this doesn't go away. This is a daily commitment to recovery, a daily commitment to self-love, a daily commitment to repudiate all the disgusting things they taught us inside of that hotel that were so false, that were so stupid, and now we know better. Rune Skitzing, sorry, I messed up your last name. This chat is exploding due to the power of love. That's right, you guys bringing in all this power of love. Oh my God, 430 people, you guys.
Question for Michael. Has Serge always been this well-spoken?
Yes, he has. In fact, that's been one actually a pretty amazing thing for me, is like when I first heard him and understanding where he came from out of Scientology, I'm like, oh my God, this kid is brilliant. He's brilliant. He knows what he's talking about, and the words that he shares and the way he expresses himself and describes things, I can't do that. Not many people can do that. So yes, he's always been well-spoken since I've met him, and he's just a brilliant guy.
I would, yeah, Michael's well-spoken too, but I would also say that Serge was well-spoken even in the Sea Org, like compared to all of our potty mouths and all that. I feel like you did have this, like, maybe it was because you were the supervisor and you were like having to like be a good example. I don't know, but you definitely were like, you were always like very like, okay, we're gonna work on that later. Let's start. You know, you would start the course room or whatever. Like, okay, that doesn't need to be talked about now. Like you always seemed very like you're thoughtful in the way that you talk, and you're very like. So it's fun to listen to you go on a rant, because then it goes on to this like. It just really clarifies it. When you really listen, it just clarifies everything that we've been through. And as you're talking, we're all going through our own stories about what what you're talking about through whatever we had just gone through. So it just feels like it's therapy, even if it's just your view of your talking about your, because it's clearing things up that have happened in my life. So it feels really cool all around. And then the protesting and all this just feels so therapeutic.
Well, and I just want to jump on that really quick, Laura, is like, and that's why I always say to all the kids that I've met inside of Scientology that's on the outside now, is like, just remember today you get to be in alignment and you get to do whatever you want to do in this life, and the universe will bring to you whatever you want whenever you seek it. You have your own power now. You know,
Mhm.
I see sometimes people like they struggle with that, going, oh, and they fall back in, you know, the past. And it's like, no, stay in the present and realize that you have the power to be who you want to be and where you want to be in today's life. And, you know, and like for Serge to be speaking out like this, for you to be speaking out like this, for everybody to be teaming up together and making this a voice louder and louder each single day, to me is so beautiful, because it's going to make a difference. It is making a difference. And Scientology's ass is going to be brought down. You know, I see it so clearly. And it's only because you guys are authentic in what you're doing and the way you're doing it. So like Laura, like what you experienced with your dad, and you saw your dad, that was hurtful. I'm sure there was some pain behind it. There's some triggers behind it. But you know what? You're out of that place. And
Yeah.
you get to choose your family today. You know, sometimes, you know, we're born with a family. Even like with me, my dad was very abusive, and it's like I didn't get to choose this person. This person was given to me by by God, or whoever that might be, the universe, and he's my dad, and he was abusive. But I've got friends and family. I've got friends all around the world that I call my family now, because I get to choose my family, and that's what you guys are doing every single day now, and it's so beautiful to see.
I love that.
Chemist, if you can't get behind a simple message about saving children, then let's go ahead and get you on a watch list. Excellent idea, Chemist. Let's put everyone that is giving us pushback on the comments, you guys, on a watch list. Oh, that's funny. Joe Spring, I had amazing parents, but I've seen all my life the most people don't, and the damage it does. And that's why I feel an obligation to stand up for y'all. Well, thank you, Joe. That's very great. Down the rabbit hole news. Hi, hey Chad, hit the like button. And
Hi, Rabbit.
and definitely check out the interview I did with Rabbit this week, you guys. We had a good conversation there.
And
Mara,
wait. And I love like Rabbit's on board with you guys. It's like to see these outside podcasters like realizing and seeing the mess that Scientology is and the damage that they've done, and have them come on board like this and just speak with you guys and pull this information into their communities, because the more communities involved, the bigger it's going to get. So thank you.
Especially her. She's got the crime watchers. I mean, you know, this is a crime, you guys, what is being done in those hotels. What's being perpetrated in those hotels is a crime, and we need crime watchers. We need legal minds. We need every last person that can contribute with their, you know, knowledge and experience to lend their voice, because it's definitely powerful to have that backup. Retrievers Rock, Laura and Serge, it is so important that you are out of the street, that you're out on the street, because you're educating the TikTokers. They and their audience need that information. Absolutely. Well, you know, everybody needs the information for sure. And
yeah, I love that.
Pause for Andrea. Last night was legendary and truly incredible event to witness. So proud of all of you speaking your truth, which needs to be heard far and wide. The kids cannot consent is the urgent focus. Thank you so much, Pause. Absolutely. Audit LA, I want to get involved beyond protesting at the building. Well, thank you, Audit LA, 100%. And there's more definitely coming down the pipeline, you guys. Yeah, they put that speaker in after a kid ran off with the little one, even though they got it back. Yeah. Case in the house, another one of our great mods. Shout out to UK. Rinder helped create the legal protocol. He knows the players and their crimes. Difficult to believe he couldn't tell all and shut it down. Good point, Kay, in the house. And that is another point of this history of Scientology that has been very, very sanitized, you guys. In, you know, everything is either L. Ron Hubbard or David Miscavige. But going back to the enablers and the people that worked on putting the false pitches together, the people that worked together hand in hand with the attorneys, was Marty Rathbun and Mike Rinder, the top dogs, as they used to call themselves. besties with Dave. They were all a bunch of besties having a jolly old time for a while they were all slave masters. When they were slave masters, they were happy. They were really going to help the planet. When they became slaves and they got put on a trailer as adults, then they didn't like it. So we're really questioning that. And again, in what world did you set this up? In what world did you lie to the IRS? In what world did you spend all that time propping up a sham? And now the sham has not been dismantled. So if you really think you tried very hard, try much harder, because you don't have the correct estimation of effort to get a product. So go get a product already and stop giving us all these excuses of why you cannot do your job. And that, you guys, was exactly how they spoke to us. So we're just getting back into giving it exactly how they talked to us. Anon, thank you. And it was great to have a group like this. Great. Jacob. Oh, hey, Jacob. Good work today and keep up the great work. Well, thank you. And keep up your great work too, Jacob. Beachcomber. Surgeon Laura, you upped the ante last night and COS are feeling the burn. Keep bringing the fire. Thank you, Beachcomber. Really appreciate it. Well, y'all are keeping the fire burning, you guys, and it's all of yours positive vibes and healing vibes and let's get kids out of the damn hotel already vibes that is making a difference. And you know, we're just at the beginning of this year 2024, but I have a feeling that this is going to be a year of truths actually getting revealed. So maybe all of you will get a certificate from us that you did achieve the OT8. And guess what? We're not going to charge you a dime. Literally, you will all get certificates. OT8s, the truth is revealed. I don't give a shred of an F what L1 Hubbard said. He didn't know anything since he did pull everything out of his ass. So if you really want to buy things that a man pulled out of his ass, go and get your L1 Hubbard on. Because look at you. I mean, literally, what else do you call it? What else do you call it?
But the way you say it is just like, so if you literally want to go buy things that a man pulled out of his ass.
And you're looking at those things going, oh, those are awfully ugly.
Ew, it's gross. It's grotesque. I don't know.
I can't sometimes.
Question, do you think they moved the recruiting to another site? No, I mean, that site is going to be open, and just because, you know, they're very self-righteous, they're, you know, again, you guys remember, they think that we are just nuisance, that we don't know what in the hell we're talking about, and, you know, that they're just having to navigate through this troublesome time of theirs. But that's how short-sighted they are. They literally can only see this, you know, and this location is going to keep open, so keep showing up there. They have other ones, but really how Scientology works, you guys, is through referrals. Okay, so you are vetted, you are important, you are a VIP, you have something really to offer. Otherwise, they don't give a shred of an F about you. Yeah, if they grab you from the street and see that you are a Latin person that really maybe want to have a visa, well, then they can have a free maid for themselves, and then they'll convert them. But you know, the street recruitment is so that they can like recruit maids and recruit like their bottom of the barrel people. Like that's how disgusting these people are. Literally, that's how disgusting they are. I mean, they're not going to put a celebrity to be a maid. They're not going to recruit her. They're not going to recruit Ella Travolta to be like, oh yeah, Ella, why don't you become a hotel maid at Celebrity Center? That's never going to happen. But you
And
know,
not only that, it's once you get into, you know, oh, maybe you're first going to start off as the receptionist or whatever it is, which they don't put you on right away because you have to be fully groomed to be the receptionist because you're dealing with people off the street and stuff. So you can't just be like, oh, well, that's a good question. I don't know why I'm stuck in a cult. But like, there's also things like where they have these positions. And then like my dad is working in the lowest position and he's been in the Sea Org for almost 50 years or more. And he's literally at the lowest position, comfortable there because at least he's not being seen or heard and he's just doing a good job and somebody's doing it. So these positions, these lower end positions, you're going to be doing at some point, no matter what position or whatever. And you enter the organization doing all this. They call it EPF. So they're going to put you on this boot camp like program group when you join. Even if you came off the street, that's going to start automatically putting you in the mindset of the group, and the group, you see everybody else in the group doing it. So then you start doing it. So it's a whole little spell. It's a really sad, pathetic little gross spell.
And I love this line from philosophy. People only see what they want to see. Living is easy with eyes closed, misunderstanding all you see. And I think that pretty much wraps up what these people are in a problem, right? Because like they literally have their eyes closed, but they couldn't be more confident because a con man sold them on things he pulled out of his ass. So there.
There he goes, pulling it out of his ass.
Loving your perseverance. Thank you. And thank you. Forget your friend. I'm a never in with some experience in child abuse world. I know your hearts have been bruised and battered in many years, but look at you now. Well, thank you, Marissa. That's very sweet. Well, wonderful, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this live. It was so great having you all here, and we're all decompressing and debriefing on our, not the last, definitely will not be the last time these people hear or see any of us and any of y'all, because we are committed to this cause. They are going to literally have to get rid of every last 21 and under, and they're really all gonna have to start answering what in the hell they've done and what in the hell they've normalized for themselves. All adults. So all of you that really thought, oh, David Miscavige will take all the fall for this and the liability will only be on him, bad news for you. If you were a Scientology adult, you are implicated. If you were a Scientology parent that donated a child and trafficked them, you are implicated. It doesn't matter, you were not in the Sea Org. Oh, I was just a public. We don't care. You were a public. We don't care. We don't care about your delusions. Your delusions, miss us with it, because we know this scam like the back of our hand. Because again, we were adulticized and put frontline and center in all of this disgusting stuff. And that is the power that we have today, you guys. You guys do have actual insight from people that have skin in the game. Lara, me, Liz, Nora, Liz Ferris, Aaron Smith-Lev, every last shred of child that was put in there had skin in the game, had eyeballs, was a first-hand witness to all of this. And all of them are disgusted. All of them are nauseated AF that their childhoods were ripped away from them, and that more children's childhoods are being ripped today. I mean, that is what's disgusting. Like, we can only be the change we want to see. We wish people would have been talking outside the hotel, trying to rescue us when we were there. We would have appreciated if there was some sort of way for us to, offshoot out of that situation. And that is what we need to create for all the people that have been abused. All of these kids need to be, have a safe landing to get somewhere, and hopefully they don't spend, like us, so much of that abuse that they have to have full, breakdown, midlife crisis, to start connecting dots, because no human should be dehumanized. And L. Ron Hubbard normalized that at an industrial scale. So we would love to hear, again, from the LAPD, how dehumanizing is a very religious experience for children, because that is what we need to understand from you, LAPD. And before you have no shred of a clue, I can't read a single thing from L. Ron Hubbard, well, maybe go and double check that stupidity, because you're presenting stupidity, you're presenting willful ignorance, you're presenting, I'm going to pluck my eyes out of my eyeballs, and all of a sudden, then I don't have to do anything about it. And that's just not how it works. Reality doesn't work like that. So stop being infantile yourselves and really actually do some due diligence. Dig into this problem. Stop pretending it isn't, because we have plenty of firsthand witnesses that already did experience that abuse. So those are my words to end. Any words from you, Michael?
Well, you said one thing earlier, like, parents donated their child to the Scientology, and I'm like, did they donate or did they just abandon their child?
Well, it was sort of both.
I feel like it was both.
Yeah,
for
it's
me.
like they
He
just,
felt like, oh, I'm donating plus.
and
I
then they,
also think this is easier for me to just join the Sea Org and not have to be a part of this outside world
yeah,
and deal with the kids and this life that we're probably struggling in or whatever.
Mhm.
Well, the thing I would say is, like, everybody that's been on the chat, it's been so nice that everybody joined today. And it's just like, if everybody just reaches out and just, have their friends follow, just to spread the world. It's just little bits make a big difference. And it's just baby steps, and the baby steps you guys have been taking are just incredible. And to see the expansion that you've gone through, Serge, Laura, to see, last night I was sharing with you, it's to see your expansion that you've gone through with this. It's just beautiful. And you guys, this is a mission. This is a mission to save the children. And so let's all gang together and let's be together as a family, and let's continue this mission, and just let's take them down. Let's get the children out of there.
Yeah, I love that. And also the people out on the streets, everybody here in the chat and anybody listening in the future, they're out there every night, by the way. They're out there every night. They're out there during the day. They're stopping people by voice. There's no physical touching of anybody. So just mind your own business and just keep your message. But they're just letting people know that are being pulled in by these little Scientology recruiters, Sea Org recruiters that are going out there on the street telling them, oh, come take a personality test, and lying them into the Scientology building. So we're just letting them know right before they go in, or, and filming their behavior and everything, because all this is all very important. Always be filming, always be out there. But I want to let everybody know in the chat, they do this every night. It's been a thing now. Go follow Streets LA, go follow Jessica Palmadessa, go follow Lara FM and Serge Delmar and Michael, and just go follow everybody that's there. And you're going to see it's a very confident, very calm, very strong message that we're sending to Scientology and their corruption and manipulating and human trafficking people literally straight from Hollywood Boulevard. And they're doing this in every organization, wherever there's going to be a lot of tourists or anybody. So that's the whole idea. We're just exposing that out, and it's going to stop the children coming in. It's going to stop all that. So it'll expose them, hopefully, to get rid of their tax status and to get them out of, for sure, the US, but to just make them really known that that's what they are. And it's hard to say that when our own parents and everything brought us all up in it. So imagine how shitty we must feel all the time for thinking, oh, our parents think we suck for saying what we're saying. But it has to be said. It has to be let go of. It needs to be dismantled.
Yeah. The generational curse is broken. And that's the magic of it all.
And I just want to say to, like, all the children out there that are, have gotten out of Scientology, that are part of this mission and all that, remember that you get to live the life you want today. So remember that every single day when you wake up, to be grateful that your feet are planted where they are planted. Kiss the ground you're walking on today, because it's completely different from what you used to, experience as a kid in Scientology. And you get to do anything and everything you want to do today. So remember that, because it's right there at your fingertips. You get to do anything. So, the past is the past, and it's always going to be there. So we're always going to be able to pull that information and use it the way we need to use it, but leave it where it is and go forward and enjoy your day and enjoy your life, because you can make anything out of it.
Wonderful. Well, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend, and we will see you all extremely soon. Bye-bye.